Dear ski friends, I am pleased to welcome you to the 52nd International Ski Congress. This is clearly now how any of us had hoped to meet, with each of us sitting in our separate room, far away from one to another. But it has been an extraordinary 15 months that has called us for a lot of flexibility and creativity from all of us. First, I'd like to take this chance to inform the FIS delegates that Gianfranco Casper will not be joining us at today's Congress. He is currently in the hospital under observation after not feeling well the last few days. He left a short message to share to the Congress. I would like to give the floor now to FIS Director Philippe Guisbiller to read this message.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I will now read the message from President Casper. I really regret that I cannot be with you today, but last weekend I was admitted into the emergency unit due to a breathing problem. Yesterday I was moved out of intensive care to the cardiological unit where I will have further tests. I really regret my absence and would like to thank you for 46 years of great collaboration and outstanding friendship. I wish you all the best for today's Congress and hope to see you all soon in person. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Philippe. I know you will all join me in wishing him a speedy recovery. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome all of the delegates joining us from all around the world, especially the FIS Council members who are also joining us virtually. The last time we were able to hold a FIS Congress was in 2018 in Costa Navarino, where we were all together on a beautiful Greek coast without the masks, without social distancing, without talks of vaccination and a PCR test. It feels like we lived many lives since then. And it's why, despite the fact we cannot meet in person, that I am still proud that we can hold this online Congress. Life must go on. The world of skiing and snowboarding must go on. And we all continue to move forward. And this concert ensures that the FIS is continuing to move ahead, no matter what obstacles we face. We have a very full agenda ahead of us today, so I'll be brief in my opening comments, as everyone has already received a written report from President Casper that covers our activities since the last Congress. I hope that even we cannot meet in person, where it is easier to focus on the matters at hand, that especially for the President Casper, you will give your full focus to the proceeding, as your decision today will have a major impact on the future of the FIS. I ask each and every delegate here today to take your responsibility of being a part of FIS very seriously and with complete integrity. At the end of the day, we'll all sit forth this meeting because we care about the future of skiing and snowboarding, and all have the same goal, to see our sport continue to drive well in the future. The only thing that I ask you is that before every decision you make today, you answer a simple question. What is the right thing for the future of FIS? And with that, I would like to open the 52nd International Ski Congress. But before we get into the business of the meeting, I would like to take a few moments to remember the wonderful FIS people who have already sadly passed away since our last meeting in 2018. Mr. Janez Kocijančič, Paavo Petea, Hans Ostler, Peter Andrew, Peppi Gramshammer, Egon Zimmermann, Mario Kotelli, Pablo Rosenkier, Volodymyr Malenčík, Stig-Ove Gustafsson, Tony Kegi, and John Heilig. I would ask you now to observe a minute silence for our dear departed. Thank you. We remember, of course, them with the fondness and thank them for all their irreplaceable legacies to our federation. All our best wishes as ever with their family, friends, and colleagues. They are a special place for them in all of our hearts. And so now, with the business of the meeting, but first I would like to address some housekeeping points with you presented by the FIS director, as well as a legal introduction from Dr. Stefan Netzle. Philip, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you all for your heartfelt messages to our President. Welcome, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today, and I would like to take this opportunity to ensure the delegates that despite today's meeting being held online, everything has been prepared to the highest standard, and we are prepared to undertake the many important decisions that this Congress will have to make today. Since I'm relatively new to this role, I especially look forward to the day when we can all meet in person and I can put some faces with your names. I have already enjoyed greatly getting to know you online in the last months or seeing you at the FIS World Championships. But with that in mind, I would like to move forward with the housekeeping points to address. If you are watching this on Zoom, then you will have logged on through the Lumi platform. We advise you to keep the link that you used to access this close by in case you are accidentally disconnected during the Congress. Then you can easily and quickly log back on again. As those of you who attended the online training sessions last week will be aware already, the Vice President will, with your permission, will be asking for some open votes by show of hands on non-contentious issues during the Congress. This will assist us in terms of time and allow us to concentrate on the more essential parts of this meeting. If an open show of hands vote is requested, please clearly raise your hand to appear in your camera image on Zoom. The Vice President will be able to see you all on these big screens we have here in the studio. If you want to take the floor to ask a question or a point of order, then I ask you to kindly raise your hand through the function in Zoom or to write us a message in the chat. Our moderator will inform us about your question. Please only unmute your microphone when the Vice President gives you the floor to speak. Please note there may be a small delay before you are able to be seen and heard by the Congress. It is important that all the delegates keep their webcams on and the sound muted unless given the floor. The Zoom chat function will be available throughout the Congress and is a direct connection to our team here in the studio in Zurich. I would like to ask you only to use this function if you have a question for the team or are asking to take the floor during the meeting. It is not possible to chat with the other attendees via this function. As all voting members should already be aware, we are using a state-of-the-art, secure, online secret ballot voting system for all the formal votes during this Congress. The ability to vote and the voting screens will only be available for the members who have logged on with their voting rights. The system being used today is provided by Lumi, who are the world leaders in this field. Voting will be scrutinized in the Lumi offices by 3 appointed scrutineers, and the whole process will be overseen by our legal counsel, Dr. Stefan Netzle, here in Zurich. I would like now to hand over to Dr. Netzle to take us through the legal aspects.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear delegates, the chairman has asked me to provide you with the legal information to assure you that this Congress and the voting is in full compliance with the FIS statutes and Swiss law, which is the applicable law for our Congress. First of all, to the postponement of the date of the Congress. Nobody knew in early 2020 how the pandemic would develop and what it meant for the conduct of the FIS Congress. The Council discussed various scenarios and options. Its priority was to postpone the Congress to a date which would allow the physical presence of the delegates. Only when it became clear that this might take longer than expected, the Council decided to hold the Congress by way of video conferencing. According to the statutes, the Council has the power to determine the date of the Congress, which includes the right to postpone it, if the circumstances so require. This also complies with Swiss law of associations. The FIS statutes do not provide for participation by video conferencing. Due to the regulations regarding the COVID-19 pandemic of various countries, an in-person meeting is not possible. To allow companies and associations and federations to comply with their obligation, the legal obligation to carry out their annual or biannual meetings, the Swiss government has ordered that such meetings may be held by video conferencing even if their statutes or constitutions do not provide for this option. Decisions made by such virtual meetings are legally valid and enforceable. So that's what we decide today, or what you decide today, becomes a valid and enforceable decision. The Swiss government has allowed that a limited number of officials needed to run the Congress may be present in person. However, holding a hybrid Congress with some delegates present and others participating online was no option, because that would have violated the principle of equal treatment of all member federations, and it would not have been acceptable under the emergency ordinance of the Swiss government. As a consequence of the online participation, the voting will either be carried out openly, by show of hand, which can be seen by the chairman on the screen. He sees all of you, and that's why we ask you to keep your camera on, or by the Lumi system, where secret voting is required or demanded. So you have still the same options as in an in-person Congress. The electronic voting procedure by the Lumi system is managed by the company Lumi Global, which is very experienced with running such online conventions, with listed companies and international sports federations, including the International Olympic Committee. But this made it necessary to find a correct solution for monitoring the voting and counting of votes. Instead of having 3 voting tellers present here in Zurich following the voting, which is managed in the United Kingdom, the Council has asked an independent notary public and 2 observers from the company Quest to attend the voting in the UK in person and to report back to the Congress. Quest, by the way, is the company which has been mandated with the independent FIS Ethics and Compliance Office already 5 years ago. Now I have a few general remarks for all voting procedures and elections. First, all voting is carried out openly as long as no participant in the Congress entitled to vote requests a secret ballot. Elections are by the Lumi system in any event. I would like to remind you that according to Article 21.2 of the FIS statutes and Swiss law, simple majority means that majority of the valid votes cast. Invalid or blank ballots or abstentions are not counted. The valid votes cast, not the valid votes present. So only those that have been casted or provided in the system they are counted, not the present delegates. Simple majority also applies to the presidential election. This means that the candidate is elected who receives the majority of all votes cast, as required by the FIS statutes. We have 4 candidates. It is therefore well possible that no candidate obtains the majority of all votes cast already in the first round. In that case, we will need further voting rounds. In every voting round, the candidate with the fewest votes will be eliminated until one candidate receives the majority of all votes cast. Mathematically, that will be in the third round at the latest. This understanding has been reviewed and confirmed by the FIS Legal and Safety Committee and discussed several times and adopted by the FIS Council. So this decision has been made. It makes sure that at the end, the new president has received the support of the majority of the votes and not only a minority. Simple majority, and that is for explanation because we got a number of requests. Simple majority under Swiss law must not be confused with relative majority, which would mean that the candidate with the most votes would be elected in one single round, even if he or she receives less than the majority of all votes cast. That would not be in line with the FIS statutes and Swiss law and might lead to the unwanted situation that the president is elected by the minority of all votes cast only. That is not the case. So we go until we have a majority of all votes cast voting for one person. All other votings today will also be votings by simple majorities, and we do not have any items on the agenda which would require a higher quorum according to the law or the FIS statutes. For instance, if we would change the statutes, that would require 2/3 of the votes cast, but that is not the case today. All items on which the members are called to vote are listed in the agenda in the Congress book. The Congress can only enact decisions on matters on the agenda or on urgent proposals. Proposals submitted during the Congress may be dealt with only when a 2/3 majority of the Council agrees to consider them as urgent, as it is stated in Article 20 of the FIS statutes. A final remark which came up in the last days. Some of you may have received emails from Northern Macedonia which raise concerns about the legal representation of the Ski Federation of North Macedonia today. Please note the following. The Ski Federation of North Macedonia is a valid member federation of the FIS. That is undisputed. However, there is a legal battle going on about who is the rightful president of this federation. Until this battle has been decided, the FIS will continue to accept the incumbent president as the representative of the Ski Federation of North Macedonia. FIS mainly relies on the very recent court decision which upheld an appeal on the incumbent president against his replacement. That may change in the future, but as of today, we go on with the incumbent president. Mr. Chairman, that's all I have to say from a legal standpoint. Back to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Netzle. I think this explanation was absolutely clear for all of us. And because I don't see any question from the floor just now, will proceed exactly like this. Thank you for that. Philip, over to you now for the second point of agenda at the roll call.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. So this year we have been able to register the delegates electronically thanks to the voting system provided by Lumi. So we can proceed here without having to wait for a response, except in those instances where a delegate has not been confirmed to be logged on. The names of the delegates are shown on the screen and will be noted in the minutes. To save a bit of time, we will only need to read the names of the nations and the number of votes each NSA has. Should there be any discrepancy with what is shown on the screen, please inform us immediately through the chat. I will now proceed with the roll call that you can see on your screen. Albania, 1 vote. Algeria, 1 vote. Andorra, 1 vote. Argentina, 2 votes. Armenia, 1 vote. Australia, 2 votes. Austria, 3 votes. Belgium, 1 vote. Bosnia-Herzegovina, 1 vote. Belarus, 1 vote. Bolivia, 1 vote. Brazil, 1 vote. Bulgaria, 2 votes. Canada, 3 votes. Chile, 2 votes. China, 3 votes. Croatia, 2 votes. Cyprus, 1 vote. Czech Republic, 3 votes. Denmark, 2 votes. Spain, 2 votes. Estonia, 1 vote. Finland, 3 votes. France, 3 votes. Great Britain, 3 votes. Georgia, 1 vote. Germany, 3 votes. Greece, 1 vote. Hong Kong, 1 vote. Hungary, 1 vote. India, 1 vote. Iran, 2 votes. Ireland, 1 vote. Iceland, 1 vote. Israel, not present. Italy, 3 votes. Japan, 3 votes. Kazakhstan, 2 votes. Kyrgyzstan, 1 vote. Korea, 2 votes. Kosovo, 1 vote. Latvia, 1 vote. Lebanon, 2 votes. Liechtenstein, 1 vote. Lithuania, 1 vote. Luxembourg, 1 vote. Morocco, 1 vote. Mexico, 1 vote. Mongolia, 1 vote. Republic of North Macedonia, 1 vote. Montenegro, 1 vote. Monaco, 1 vote. Netherlands, 3 votes. Nepal, 1 vote. Norway, 3 votes. New Zealand, 2 votes. Pakistan, 1 vote. Poland, 3 votes. Portugal, 1 vote. Democratic People's Republic of Korea, 1 vote. Romania, 1 vote. South Africa, 1 vote. Russia, 3 votes. Slovenia, 3 votes. Republic of San Marino, 1 vote. Serbia, 1 vote. Switzerland, 3 votes. Slovakia, not present. Sweden, 3 votes. Chinese Taipei, 1 vote. Turkey, 2 votes. Ukraine, 2 votes. United States of America, 3 votes. Uzbekistan, 1 vote, which brings the total of countries to 73 and the total number of votes to 123. This concludes the roll call, and I would like to give the floor back to you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. And of course, the certification of the number of the votes of each member association was controlled by the tellers as addressed by Stefan Netzle. The tellers have been already appointed, and they are as follows. Mr. Edward Gardner, she's rights as a public notary. Narida Dumse, senior investigator, Quest. And Susan Guer, analyst from Quest. Thank you so much. And we'll move into number 3, approval of the agenda. We have shared the agenda within the statutory deadline, and we have not received any comments or feedbacks. There have been no item brought forward by the Council, and unless someone has a comment, we can consider the agenda as approved. I'll make an open vote. Please show your hands if you are opposed, if you are against to approving the agenda. If you are against, please. If you oppose. Thank you. I don't see any case. I don't see any hands now. And there are not questions showing on my computer, on the chat. So we can consider the agenda as approved. Thank you. And we'll continue. Moving on to the item number 4, the decision whether the discussions are to be public. We have made our meetings open to the public since 1969. And with this online format and with the upcoming decision and the elections, it is especially important to be transparent. Is anyone of you opposed to making this meeting public? Please show your hand. I don't see any hand. Thank you. There is no question even on my computer, on the chat. So we can consider this decision as approved. Thank you. And let's continue. We are now on the item number 5, the election of the certifiers of the minutes. The Council proposes the following people as certifiers. Dr. Jenny Shuttle for English, Peter Bloch for French, and Walter Vogel for German. Is anyone opposed? Please raise your hand in this case. I don't see anybody. Even there are no questions on my chat. So we can consider the proposed certifiers approved, and we'll continue to the next point. Item number 6, the minutes of the previous ordinary Congress. We have shared the minutes with all members, and we have not received any comments or feedback. Again, show your hands in the case that you are opposed to accepting the minutes. I don't see anybody. Thank you. There are no hands, no requests from the floor, so we can consider the minutes approved. Thank you. We'll continue to the number 7 of our agenda. Number 7 will be the President's report. The President's report covering the FIS activities since the last Congress in 2018 was submitted as a part of the pre-meetings documentation to save the time, and I'll not deliver the report orally. Allow me address one important part of the President's report, the Mainau Manifesto. The Mainau Manifesto, which was unanimously supported by the FIS Council, has already been discussed on a number of occasions, and firmly believe that there are no doubts that the FIS must be more active in the field of the climate and environmental sustainability for the future of our sport and of the planet. I would therefore like to propose to Congress to approve the Mainau Manifesto. I don't think that would make any sense to wait until the end of the Congress, as we are speaking about this subject just now. So unless everyone is opposed to the Mainau Manifesto, can we consider this approved? I don't see anybody. Any hand, any request from the floor? So we can consider the Mainau Manifesto as approved, and thank you for your support. This is a very timely decision, as tomorrow, the 5th of June, the World Climate Day, is the World Climate Day, and there could be no better ways for all of us to celebrate this. I would like to thank the working group who worked on the Mainau Manifesto, led by Erwin Lauterbasser, for their excellent work in this important field. Thank you to the Congress for supporting such important theme. Let's continue to the next point. For the item 8, 9, and 10 of the agenda, we have no content in this year, and we thank all of our members, National Ski Association, for their support in this, as allow to us to gain some time and progress faster through the Congress. I can assure you, and we have discussed it even at the Council, that all of the tabled proposal will be addressed at the 22 Congress, and thank you once again for your support. We'll move now to item 11 and 12. The videos reports tabled item 11 and 12 for the Olympic Winter Games, the Youth Olympic Games, as well as various FIS World Championship, has been shared in advance with all of members. I would like to thank our past host for the excellent delivery, despite the very challenging circumstances of this year, and I wish the best of luck to all of the future hosts with their preparation. Do you have any question to the former organizer or to the future organizers? I don't see anybody. I don't see even on my computer any question request. Okay, thank you so much. And we'll move to the FIS publication. I will pass over to FIS Director.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Under item 13, the FIS publication, the FIS Council proposes to proceed as in the previous year and submits the following proposal to the Congress. To publish the International Ski Calendar 21-22 on the FIS website and to keep it continually updated. To publish one edition of the FIS Bulletin per year and on a regular basis, newsflash via email and on our website. To leave it up to the FIS administration to decide whether the ICR have to be reprinted or not. As mentioned before, this is in line with what has been done in the previous years. If anyone opposes this proceeding, please show your hands now or make yourself visible in the chat. We do not see any requests for the floor nor any raised hands, so Mr. Chairman, we can consider this part approved. And if you allow me, I would just very quickly also come back. Our legal counsel has informed us that at the beginning we have been a bit quickly, and we would very much like also to request the approval for the tellers that we have been appointing through Mr. Gardiner, the Notary Public, and the 2 independent observers that are in the Lumi UK offices. Is there anyone opposed to proceeding in this way, or can we consider that this is approved? Should you not agree, please show your hands on your screens or request a chat so that we can address this point. We do not see any raised hands nor requests on the chat, Mr. Chairman, so we can continue. I pass you back the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Philip. And we'll move to the item number 14, the affiliation and exclusion of the member associations. The proposals for few association members is already provisionally approved by the FIS Council, and we have submitted to the Congress for ratification following proposals: Cape Verdean Olympic Committee, Panama Association of Winter Sports, Tanzanian Olympic Committee, United Arab Emirates Snow and Ice Sport Federation, and Ski Federation on Vanuatu. We have not received any questions or comments. Unless there are anyone opposed now, we'll approve the new associate members. I don't see any hands, any question, so I'll take it as approved. Thank you very much. And for all new associated members, very warm welcome to the FIS family. We look forward to working with you in the future, in the upcoming years. Thank you so much. Item number 15, reports of the accounts, reports of the auditors, and the vote for the adoption of the accounts since the last financial period. And I would like now to pass the floor to the Vice President and the Treasurer, Mr. Mats Aries, for his report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dear delegates, as FIS Treasurer and Chairman of the FIS Finance Commission, it's my pleasure to inform you about the accounts 2020. The year 2020 will definitely find its way into the history books, and I'd like to congratulate all athletes, all NSAs, the local organizing committees on every level, and of course the FIS staff for their great work during this pandemic winter season. We successfully held the World Ski Championships in Oberstdorf and Cortina, and also the major part of the World Cup races could take place. Maybe not in the planned place, but with the efforts of all involved persons and groups, we achieved a lot, and I think we can be proud of it. Coming to the financial side of last year, first of all, the accounts for the financial period 2018-19 had been accepted by the NSAs by writing last summer. Therefore, we will not have to vote about this. Also, the budget 2020-2021 has been approved by the NSAs last year by writing. And when it comes to the accounts 2020, it's only the half of the financial period, and it's not representative since the income from the World Ski Championships are booked in 21. Nevertheless, we made a gain of 1 million Swiss francs. The Finance Commission and the FIS Council agreed last October to support the NSAs and the local organizing committees with 20% of the prize money. A total amount of 3.1 million Swiss francs has been paid out to the organizers of World Cups, and in addition, 500,000 Swiss francs also to the World Ski Championships. These payments lead to a deduction of the prize money fund, and FIS will have to fill the fund for future support before distributing a potential gain to the national ski associations. After a shock at the stock exchanges in last March and April, the situation recovered over the past months, and it's a very good situation by the end of December 2020, where the loss fully had been compensated, and we see a break even in the financials of FIS. This shows that the current investment strategy works fine. For the details, I like to point out the overview of the accounts, which you can see on the slide, and I will explain the main reasons for the variance between the budget and the actual figures 2020. If we have a look at the income, the main difference comes from the World Cup. Since we had to cancel the last events in March 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we budgeted a reduction of the sponsorships payment of 20%. It turned out that the deductions, in fact, were only 6.4%, and therefore we are almost Swiss francs better than budgeted. Furthermore, we received 800,000 Swiss francs for the GIST project from IDG China, and this amount belongs 50% to the World Academy of Sports, and we will see in the business expenditures this payment. I would like to thank my council colleague, Dean Gosper, for his great support regarding GIST, and currently we can see that the project finally did not have financial impact on FIS. Our expenses are covered with this one payment from IDG. If we look at the human resources, we have several savings due to, of course, less traveling for all of us, for committees, council, and so on. Furthermore, we also have lower payments to Mark Hodler Foundation than budgeted. Overall, this gave us a saving of approximately 1 million Swiss francs. If it comes to business expenditures, there are some minor savings in various points, but more or less we are in line with the budget, I would say. And the financial support has been paid out according to the FIS rules to the NSAs and also according to the budget. Finally, then, our finances. As stated, we got hit at the stock exchange markets last year in March and April. At that time, we had a loss of 6 million Swiss francs in our books, and that was also the moment when we had to prepare the budget for 2020-21. Therefore, we took the minus of 6 million Swiss francs in our planning to be on the safe side. Fortunately, the finances recovered, and by the end of the year, we were almost break even. This gives us a variance of more than 6.4 million Swiss francs compared with the budget. Overall, we are 15 million Swiss francs better than budgeted. Conservative planning, cautious spending, and the stock exchange has helped us. I want to thank you for your trust, and we do our utmost to keep the FIS finances healthy. Now I would like to hand over to our director, Philippe Geisbühler, for the voting of the accounts. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ories. Before we proceed with the voting, are there any questions? Please show your hands or ask the floor on the chat. We do not see anyone having any questions, so thank you very much, Mr. Treasurer. Your words have been very clear as always. We will now come to the moment when we will first use our certified electronic secret ballot voting system. Each voting delegate from all the voting NSAs has entered the Lumi system with a personal and secure login. For NSAs with more than one vote, each delegate has an individual login. As previously mentioned, voting will be scrutinized in the Lumi offices by our notary public, Mr. Edward Gardiner of Cheese Rights, Ms. Neringa Dumze and Susan Geo from Quest. Dr. Stefan Netzle, our legal advisor, will be overseeing the procedure here from the studio in Zurich. So now the voting members should prepare to switch over to the Lumi system. We currently have 119 out of 123 people connected on the voting platform. We will run with a test vote first and contact the 4 NSAs or the 4 delegates that did not connect yet to make sure that by the time we reach the president election, we will have as many members as possible online. For the non-voting users and the public watching us on YouTube, you will not be able to take part in the vote, nor will you see the voting screens. But we will, of course, share the results live with you as soon as they are available. Over to Lumi to talk us through to the voting procedure.
Thank you very much, Director General. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before we get underway, I'd just like to say that we have had another voting delegate log in, so we are now up to 120. In order to participate in today's vote, voting delegates, please minimize Zoom and navigate back to the Lumi voting platform that you initially logged into today. So please go back to your voting platform. If you have closed that down, please do feel free to log back into that voting platform. That is where the vote is going to take place. We will conduct a test vote shortly. Once we have opened the poll, the voting platform screen will automatically change to display the voting options and the voting question. In order to participate in the vote, please select the direction that you wish to cast your vote. So for the first vote that we will conduct today, you will have the options of yes, no, and abstain. Please click the direction that you wish to cast your vote. The direction will change color and you will have a vote received confirmation message pop up. That is an immediately cast vote. If you wish to change your mind, whilst the poll remains open, simply click an alternative direction. We will give you an opportunity to cast your vote, and the tellers will confirm to me when they are happy for us to close the poll. Once we have closed the poll, the last direction you have voted upon is locked in place, and we will announce the results within the Zoom meeting. Please remember, once we have closed the poll, to navigate back to the Zoom meeting. We will be conducting two styles of votes today. The first, as I mentioned, is a simple vote where you are asked to select one option. The second style of vote, which is in relation to the council election, requires you to select multiple candidates. We will remind you when it comes to that poll how many candidates you are required to select. And having selected those candidates, you must click the send icon to submit them. But again, we will remind you prior to the council election how that is conducted. So we will now move to the first test vote, and I will hand over to Edward Gardner to run that. Thank you.
Hello to everyone. So the first test vote is as follows. The weather will be sunny tomorrow. And I can now declare that the poll is open.
So a reminder, voting delegates, please navigate back to the voting platform and select the option relevant to your vote.
The poll will close in 20 seconds. The poll will close in 10 seconds. The poll is now closed. And I can now declare that the results of the voting are as follows. There was 120 possible votes. There were 10 abstentions and 103 valid votes were cast. Yes, 96, no, 7. Thank you.
Back to you, Director General.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gardiner and the Lumi team for this test vote. It's a pleasure to see that we have so many optimistic members in our audience. I think the system has now been tested and everyone was able to cast their vote. I will now pass back the floor to Lumi to vote officially on the approval of the finances. Mr. Gardiner, back to you.
Thank you, Director General. And the next test vote is as follows. No.
We're straight into the approval.
We're straight into approval. So the next vote is as follows. Do you approve the FIS accounts 2020 and the internal and external auditors report for the fiscal year 2020? And the poll is now open.
Closed. Director.
The poll will close in 20 seconds. The poll is now closed, and I hand back to the Director General to announce the results.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gardiner. We do not yet... we have the results now just appeared on the screen. Mr. Chairman, please.
Thank you, Philip. Total possible votes 120, abstention 0, valid vote cast 117, yes 116, no 1. In this case, our accounts are approved. Thank you so much. And before we'll move to the next point, I would like first of all to thank to all of you that you are supporting us at the online Congress. We are smoothly in the agenda. We move forward, we save a little time, and we are exactly in the time. Thank you so much. I very appreciate your friendly cooperation. And before we'll proceed to the election of the new president and the council members, I would like to present Agenda 21.1, appointment of the honorary members, to you. The FIS Council has forwarded to the Congress following individuals as honorary members of the International Ski Federation. They are Mr. Patrick Smith. He has been a member of the FIS since 2000, that means 21 years. And he is currently also the chair of the FIS doping panel. He was named as a FIS vice president in 2018 at the Congress in Costa Navarino. He is a former president of the Canadian Ski Association, former chairman of the Big Thunder National Training Center, as well as past chairman of the organizing committee for several World Cups and FIS Nordic World Ski Championship held in Thunder Bay in 1995. An attorney by education, he was appointed a federal judge by the Canadian government in 2001. Justice Smith is still active as a master cross-country competitor and enjoys alpine skiing, mountain biking, sailing, canoeing, and tennis. He is married, has 3 children, and lives in Ottawa. The second nomination, Mr. Alfons Herman. Alfons Herman joined the FIS Council in 2010. He was a president of the German Ski Association from 2005 to 2013, as a president of the Bavarian Association from 2002 to 2005, president of the Alpine World Ski Championship 2011 in Garmisch-Partenkirchen from 2006 to 2011, and vice president of the organizing committee of the FIS Nordic World Ski Championship 2005 in Oberstdorf from 2000 and 2005, as well as a chairman of the Allgäu Ski Association from 2000 to 2002. Please show your hands in the case that you are opposed to the appointment as a honorary members. I don't see anybody. I don't see even any question. And the honorary members are approved, and congratulations to both of you. Our next appointment Our next proposed appointment is a person who is well known to all of you. Prior to joining FIS, Mr. Kasper also worked at the St. Moritz Tourist Office while belonging to the organizing committees of several FIS World Cups and the FIS Alpine World Championship in St. Moritz in 1974. He chaired over the publicity, press, and public relations sections. He has also worked for the World Championship in bobsleigh and the European Championship in yachting and riding. In 1975, FIS President Mark Horler brought Mr. Kasper to Bern to take over the function of FIS Secretary General. He became a Gay Sportacon Council member of the IOC, Vice President of the IOC Olympic Channel Services and the IOC Commissions for the Winter Coordination Commissions for the Winter Olympic Games in Salt Lake City 2002, Torino 2006, Vancouver 2010, Sochi 2014, Pyeongchang 2018, and Beijing 2022. He served as a chair of the IOC Coordination Commission for first edition of the Winter Youth Olympic Games in Innsbruck in 2012, as well as a member of the second Winter Youth Olympic Games in Lillehammer 2016. Furthermore, he was a president of the Association of International Olympic Winter Sport Federations until 2020 and was an IOC executive member from 2016 till 2018. At the IOC session in Buenos Aires in fall 2018, Mr. Kasper received the Olympic Order and was named as an IOC honorary member. After 46 years of passionately working with the FIS, he has truly shaped our federation and our sports. Our outgoing president, Gianfranco Kasper, leaves very big shoes indeed to fill. I would ask you now if you would please show your hands in the case that you are opposed to appoint Mr. Gianfranco Kasper as a honorary president of the International Ski Federation. I don't see anyone. Thank you so much. I think this decision is completely right and appropriate. Gianfranco has seen FIS through more than 4 decades of change, and before we vote for the next president who will carry the torch for our federation of our sport into the future, it seems like a good moment to remind all of us of Gianfranco's great legacy and take a brief glance into his outstanding legacy and how he has guided FIS through the decades.
you close your eyes.
The elected organizer is Vale Beavercliff.
Close your eyes. Does it almost feel like you've been here before?
I wish everybody a very good winter season, which will start in a few days for now. A lot of snow and, of course, a lot of fun on your skis.
Is it just me, or do you ever feel like time just flies? Is it just me, or do you ever feel the years go by? I've never been good at saying goodbye, so I'ma let the memories get me by. Is it just me, or do you put the same scenes on rewind? Rewind, 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 rewind. Is it just me, or do you put the same scenes on rewind? Rewind.
We can say after 15 years that this is the most prestigious and the most honest competition in Iron skiing.
Birds flying high. You know how I feel. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. I'm feeling good.
She's taken out! Shaun White takes gold! Unbelievable scenes!
What can I say? Thank you, Gianfranco. For me and for the entire world of sports, you are the personification of modern ski sport. Your achievements are going far beyond of your own sport, your federation. With all the reforms and adaptations in the past years under your leadership, you have also changed the Olympic Winter Games. And in all of this, you have always been yourself. Very authentic. For some, maybe sometimes even too authentic. But nothing is more successful than success. And we all have greatly benefited from your success. So thank you and chapeau, my dear friend Gianfranco.
President of the International Ski Federation, Gianfranco Casper. Dear ski friends, the time has come to say thank you.
Gianfranco, what can I say? What can we all to say? just now. Only thank you in some ways that not seems to say enough, but the words cannot really express our thanks to you. We feel it in our hearts. Thank you so much from all of us. And now, Philip, has some details how the FIS family and you personally can pay tribute to our President Kasper. Philip, please.
Thank you very much, Roman. And first of all, I would like to thank Infront for their support in producing this outstanding video. It's hard to caption such an achievement in only 5 minutes. It goes far beyond this, and as Roman rightfully said, there are not enough words to express our gratitude, but we know that all of you share this wish to express your gratitude to Gianfranco Kasper for the many years of service and dedication to our sport. And we want to be sure that he hears all your messages from everyone. Therefore, we have created a website, www.kasper.ski, where you can go to share your appreciation, memories, photos, and kind messages to him. We will put all the messages that we receive via this website into a book that we will physically print and hand over to Gianfranco. Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. Back to you.
Thank you, Philip. So, let us move to the item number 18, the election of the new FIS President and the FIS Council. For this vote will proceed as follows. Each candidate has submitted a presentation video which will watch in alphabetical order of the candidate names and without a break. In the end of the videos, you will have the opportunity to submit questions to the candidates, should you have any. The question will be moderated by FIS to allow us to stay on schedule and to ensure the neutrality. If you have a question for a candidate, please use the chat function to submit your question to our moderators. I am sure that you are all aware of the limited time that we have, so I would like to ask you only request the floor and submit the relevant questions. Only questions that were not covered in the candidates' videos will be posed to the candidates. Thank you in advance for your understanding on this point. So before to go ahead with your question and a vote, let's watch the videos.
Dear delegates, dear friends, it's my honor to address you as a presidential candidate and to become the successor of Mr. Gianfranco Kasper. And as our chairman just mentioned, I've prepared a video which explains how, if I'm given the honor of being elected your president, I will work with you to build on our strong foundation and realize our huge potential. So please start the video. Thank you very much.
I'm running for the FIS presidency, first and foremost because I love the sport. I believe that I have the expertise and experience to lead FIS forward at a critical and very challenging time. We have achieved a great deal as FIS family, but COVID-19 pandemic has changed our world completely. We must quickly adapt to safeguard our sport and innovate to realize our full potential. I'm committed to building on the best of FIS heritage through sustainable innovation. Skiing has been my passion my whole life, and it has shaped me. I started skiing as a child. I taught my 2 sons to ski. I dreamed of being a professional skier when I was competing at junior level. I know it's exactly the same for most people in the national federations. Skiing and snowboarding brings families together. That's why I'm so passionate about making sure we continue to ensure we reach the next generation. so our FIS family can continue to grow and achieve great things. I'm now standing in the beautiful Olympic Stadium of Stockholm, which was built for the Olympic Games in 1912. 12 years before FIS was founded, and the first president, he came from Sweden, Ivar Holmqvist. I have strong expertise across all levels of sport. I'm a FIS vice president and have been on the council since 2010. I bring continuity of leadership from this position, but with my best, hopefully, years ahead of me. I was president of the Swedish Ski Association for 10 years, and I understand the challenges and realities national federations face. I'm president of the Swedish Olympic Committee, so I have strong relationships and knowledge of the Olympic movement. And importantly, I also have expertise in the business of our sport as chief executive of SkiStar for 17 years. SkiStar is a world-leading snow tourism, ski and snowboard resort business listed on the Stockholm Stock Exchange. So I understand the needs of businesses that serve our sport. And I believe that FIS has the opportunity to embrace sport and tourism, to attract more participants and generate greater revenue. We are standing in front of the Royal Castle in the city center of our capital, Stockholm. In 1999, we tried to convince the King of Sweden to get the permission and to organize a World Cup sprint event around the Royal Castle. He said to us that it was a crazy idea, but let's do it and try to make it happen. You can't imagine that we were skiing on a cross-country World Cup level in the city center of Stockholm, right outside the Royal Castle. But we did, several times. So we're skiing right here, and the finish line is over here. And you can imagine lots of people, lots of snow, happy athletes, and great success. My ambition for FIS is to be the leading Olympic international federation. We must be ambitious. Our sport has huge potential. It's because of FIS heritage we have already achieved so much. Now we can build on that heritage through sustainable innovation. If I'm elected today, and to achieve this, I would like to use all experience and expertise that exists in the FIS family. I would undertake the largest review in our sports history. We would identify where we are strong and where we can improve together. To all national federations, I would like to say, I'm completely committed listening to you. I want you all to have active roles and shaping the future of FIS so it is a FIS that benefits you and your athletes. Of course, I have many ideas based on my experience, but these need to be developed in partnership with the national federations and other FIS stakeholders. Very close to the city center of Stockholm, we have Hammarbybacken, where we organized Alpine World Cup parallels several times. Together with my colleagues, I have been running several bid campaigns in order to get the World Championships, and we have been very successful, I would say. Of course, this is something that I'm very, very proud of, because you get some kind of experience and expertise from both running, bidding for the World Championships, but also planning and organizing them. And we have done that 2007 in Åre, 2015 with great success in Falun, Nordic World Championships, and in Åre again 2019. To become the leading international Olympic federation, I see 4 priority areas. Governance. We need to be more modern and transparent. When it comes to shareholder engagement, it's important to grow. Environment, it's our shared responsibility. And when it comes to FIS assets, I believe that by using our own creativity, we can be more profitable and make more money. The output of our review and the answers we agree to these questions would then shape the reforms we implement. If I'm elected today, I strongly believe that we can work together closely and create an even better future of FIS. We will be a leader in good governance and sustainable innovation. We will have tested new and innovative FIS events and new technology. We will have increased youth participation. We will have supported national federations in implementing best practice and take a global leadership role in sustainability. And we have secured, hopefully, existing and new commercial partners, generating additional revenues to be invested in our own assets. My final message for the national federations. Working with you all, I'm ready to draw from my expertise and my experience across all areas of our sport to ensure that we build on our foundation. I really hope that you give me this chance and that we together will establish FIS as the leading Olympic international federation that serves all of you and your athletes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have worked closely with Johan Elias over the past 12 months to help design his presidential campaign. He's been thorough, innovative, engaged, transparent and energetic, but all the time recognizing the need to build on the existing solid foundations of FIS. You all have a great heritage, which with new leadership will rapidly adapt to a growing market for international sports engagement. Johan was the obvious choice for Great Britain to nominate, and now you should hear from the candidate himself.
Growing up in Sweden, my life was all about sport. My main passion was always skiing. Everything from cross-country to alpine, from moguls to free skiing. Most of my young life was spent out there on the snow. It's where I was happiest. It's where I felt I belong. And I feel exactly the same way today. Hello, friends and colleagues. I'm Johan Elias. I'm here talking to you today because we're faced with a great opportunity. A chance to take our sport to the next level. To start along a new path that will lead us toward a brighter, more prosperous and exciting future, and a place amongst the greatest sports in the world. But to get there, we must be prepared to embrace change, to nurture growth. We must improve our formats and content, our governance, the commercialization of our rights. We must invest in you, our NSAs, and grow participation on all levels of all disciplines everywhere. That's my vision. I'm standing for this election because I think I'm the most qualified person to lead such a transformation. And here is why. To succeed in any great endeavor, just like conquering a mountain, you must be prepared. And I've been preparing for a challenge just like this one for most of my life. After completing military service, engineering and business studies, I left Sweden to live in Britain to pursue a career in corporate turnarounds and private equity. One of my main business ventures has been HEAD, where I transformed a loss-making company into a highly profitable organization expanding globally. In the process, I transformed our World Cup racing team, winning 8 of the last 10 years' brand rankings. I've also served on the advisory board of the British Olympic Association in the run-up to the 2012 Olympics, and I was a non-exec director of IMG, the global leader in sports and events marketing. Climate change is a subject that should be dear to all our hearts. I was the British Prime Minister's Special Representative on climate change, and my work in preserving rainforests and biodiversity serves as the foundation for the UN protocols in this area. In my 40 years' experience in international business, sports, politics, diplomacy, foreign affairs, and climate change, I've never backed down from a challenge. I know our sport, and I know how to get things done. Technology is changing the world we live in faster than ever. Streaming services alongside social media can massively extend our reach, increasing our fan base and attracting more athletes. We must grow and appeal to wider and younger audience to get access to the large, lucrative and growing market out there. But to do this, we need a more integrated approach to selling our sponsorship and television rights to give us more leverage to extract better value for everyone. Good governance is a prerequisite of any member organization, but also of our commercial partners. It increases accountability and avoids damaging the achievements of the past. It needs to be dynamic and transparent to ensure that none of our NSAs are left behind. Our members do not have equal voting rights, so we need to work hard to get buy-in to new plans, particularly if a large part of our growth will come from those nations who historically have been less represented. I would propose increasing the number of Congress and Council meetings and introducing a term limit for future presidents, ensuring change at the top on a more regular basis. A reconstituted executive committee fit for purpose and an appointed non-voting advisory group of experts who will add to the skills and experience upon which we can draw. This last point is vital. I will bring together the best minds in the market to the benefit of us all to ensure we remain on top of all opportunities for growth and expansion. We need to find better ways to listen to and respond to the voice of the athletes and the voice of all our nations. As an example, I would propose to Congress that we give smaller one-vote and two-vote nations guaranteed council representation. We should have a transparent annual rolling strategic plan, which I would personally commit to deliver. This will give you the opportunity to hold your leadership to account. You, our national ski associations, are our lifeblood, and too often the relationships have been too distant. They need to be nurtured so we can make informed and targeted investments supporting your growth and through you, our collective growth. FIS is more than just alpine racing in Central Europe. We're about all our disciplines on every continent. Thinking and operating globally and expanding beyond the valley next door must be our ambition and goal. Creating our future, rather than just supporting the present, should become our way of life. Expanding our reach, and therefore our commercial market, will only be possible in partnership with you. But you need the tools to plan for the longer term. An annual strategic plan will help, but we can do much more. We should raise and fix our annual distribution levels for a 4-year period. This will help planning and accelerate growth. To help level the playing field, we must actively look for opportunities to share athlete training facilities and provide broad and deep initiatives for coaching development. We should also work with the equipment manufacturers to ensure access to the best equipment at the lowest possible cost. If the collective activity of FIS grows, it can only be good for everyone. For instance, it'd be great to see a new nation hosting a World Cup event every year. One major benefit will be a significant increase in participation, and we should be ahead of the curve on this. We should celebrate our successes. I would like FIS to have a Hall of Fame. We have so many people who have served our sports with distinction, who should be honored alongside our greatest athletes.
We all agree that our sports need some evolution. The only candidate for me who is able to make it happen is Johan Elias.
I believe in change, but based on carefully developed plans.
He is, I think, a great leader and someone that can advance all of winter sports in a very, very positive and forward-thinking way.
With his know-how and his connections, he will add many new assets to lead FIS into a bright future.
I'll be transparent, I'll be engaging, and I will listen.
He's a doer, and when he sets his mind to something, my experience is that he makes it happen.
I will come to this organization with a fresh, clean canvas and a willingness to consider new ideas to help drive that change.
Together with you, we can push the FIS sports to the next level.
So if you're ready to embrace this exciting future, I'm your candidate, and it'll be my great privilege and great honor to serve you. Thank you.
Dear Mr. President, dear council members, dear FIS family. FIS is facing one of its most important moments for years, maybe even for decades. It's about the succession of our highly appreciated President Gianfranco Casper, a historical moment, one could say. The last weeks have been very intense for all of us, also for me. There have been many meetings, many hearings, many video conferences. And I have learned a lot. I wanted to thank you for that. Let me introduce you to this young kid. That's me, back in 1979, just a couple of minutes before my first GS. Later on, I became a member of the Swiss Alpine national team, being junior world champion in '87 and Alpine downhill world champion in 1993. After my career, I finished my studies with a PhD. Today, I'm having the role of a CEO and co-owner of a pharmaceutical company. During all those years, I've always remained connected to winter sports. I was working at Eurosports as a co-commentator. I have worked for the industry at Salomon. And most importantly, I've been member of the board of Swiss Ski for 15 years, serving as a president for 13 years now. Finally, my family, that's my wife Connie Kistling, a former freestyle world champion, my 16-year-old daughter Nina, being a FIS racer, we love to spend as much time on the snow as we can. Why am I running for this important and challenging role? There are three key elements. It's about passion and emotions, it's about motivation, and it's about conviction. Let me share a moment full of passion and emotions with you. Second aspect, motivation. It is my goal to develop the sports and the athletes, to serve the members, to serve the athletes, to serve the winter sports. It's about conviction. I'm sure having the experience of 15 years on the board of Swiss Ski, that will bring value added to the FIS family. FIS today is the biggest and strongest winter sports federation within the IOC, having around 50% of the medals at the Olympic Winter Games. The structures and organization have grown over the years, maybe over decades. One could say it's a dusty jewel, but still it's a jewel, and we have to work on the dust. This means we don't need a revolution, we need a consequent evolution based on the existing strength of FIS. Over the last couple of weeks, I had many discussions and conversations with the members of the FIS family, with you. If I want to summarize, there is one keyword that outpaced everything: change. What does change exactly mean? It's about clear structures and organization and the state-of-the-art governance. It's about having a clear CSR policy, statements about climate change, sustainability, transparency, gender equality. And there was another aspect. Many members still are looking for more relevance and acceptance. And having said this, also more support when it comes to material, when it comes to know-how, and at the end also about financial support. You all have received my manifesto, my program, my visions and ideas, my way that I would like to walk with you. Let's talk about the 4 pillars. Pillar 1, foster and strengthen the FIS family. I want to see a more united family. FIS shall serve all member nations. We have to work on a FIS culture and still respecting all the different cultures all over the world. We have to establish a development program 2.0, where we develop winter sports and winter sports culture in as many winter sports federations as possible. Last but not least, everybody at the table, which means all the nations, shall have an accurate voice within the FIS family. Pillar 2. Enhance the FIS structures and governance. We need a state-of-the-art structure and organization. That means we have to strengthen our management team. We need to elaborate a strategy 2025 involving all stakeholders. We've been talking about CSR policy, like climate change, etc. There has been done groundwork like the Mainau Manifesto, the last one dated 2019, but we have to make it happen now. We have to move forward in the sense that we should set goals and targets, like being CO2 neutral by a certain date, for instance 2030, or in the sense that we establish sustainable procurement policies for all our events, top events like World Cups and World Championships. Pillar 3, elevate our sport. We want to see top events and an increasing winter sports culture across all our member nations. There are many good and top events out there, but we need more of these. We have to increase the appeal and attractivity, and I see great potential. On the other hand, we need more nations in the sense where we can implement top events, or at least on the next level. And it's not only about Asia. There is another side. FIS today consists of about 134 members. 19 are considered big nations, about 15 medium nations, and not less than 100 nations are considered so-called small nations. And in these nations, it's about building up, developing winter sports from grassroots. And that is a huge task. I promise I will be a president for all members within the FIS. Pillar 4, leverage the commercial potential. We have to increase the value for all our stakeholders, also for you. By increasing the appeal of the events, we increase the attractivity for medias, for sponsors, and that's how we bring more financial revenues into the system. We have to bring the events to the people. City events for freestyle and snowboard, big air is the perfect example. It's about looking for new approaches. It's about thinking out of the box. We should use the digitalization and building the bridge to e-gaming or even esports. That's how we attract the young and next generation, and that's also how we get more revenues into the system. Why should we do that? Because having more revenues means we can invest more into sports, we can invest more into athletes, we can invest more into organizers and member federations. These 4 pillars are the groundwork, but there's much more to do. What would be my first steps after the election? I would immediately dig into the details of the organization. COVID-19 still will be around next season, so we have to assure next season. I will go out and meet the NSAs, meet you, learn from you, and start working together with you. I will establish a strong management team and thereby strengthen the structure and organization. And last but not least, I will start working on the strategy 2025 together with you. Dear President, dear Council members, dear FIS family, I hope I was able to provide you deep insights about my visions and ideas. To realize these visions, we will work together. As a team, only as a team, we will achieve the cultural change. Key for the FIS family will be that we elect a person who has the passion, who has the personal engagement, who has the personality and the charisma to make it happen. I claim to have these attributes and skills to make it happen, and I promise you not to disappoint you and your expectations. It would be my pleasure and honor to serve the FIS family in the role of the acting president. FIS, our future is strong. Thank you.
It's so great to be able to greet you from the mountains today. Let's hope we'll meet soon on the snow. The time has come for you to elect the first new FIS president of the 21st century. It's your opportunity to set the agenda and the future welfare of world skiing and snowboarding. Our sport has a rich history which we cherish, but as society changes, we also need to evolve and build on our strengths. What's your vision for the future of our beloved sport? Is it clear, confident, collaborative? Mine is. You have a choice of 4 candidates for president. Like nearly half of our athletes, I'm a woman, I'm an Olympic athlete and a leader. My only focus is to serve our sport full-time as president from day one. I have no other ties, no strings attached. You'll have my complete undistracted attention for our federation, for our stakeholders, to embrace the entire community. In our discussions these last months and over many years, I've continued to listen to you. As president, you have my pledge. We'll all be fully represented. We'll be financially strong. We'll be progressive on governance, inclusivity, diversity and gender, and we'll protect our precious, fragile mountain environments. We'll integrate a culture of sustainability throughout the organisation. You've asked, what are my priorities as president? We have 3 at the outset. Firstly, to manage the effects of the pandemic proactively and install an urgent COVID recovery fund. Secondly, to ensure the road to Beijing 2022 Games is fully on track, so we're ready for the challenges of our first post-pandemic Winter Games. And thirdly, to tackle the governance proposals and go into the FIS Congress 2022 with key decisions in place to expand gender balance and widen representation in the Council. Together, we'll take FIS to the next level as a modern, versatile and diverse organisation. We're lucky FIS is a stable organisation, but let's be clear, FIS is far from progressive. This will harm us if we don't act now and make some positive changes. Let's face it, Every FIS presidential candidate is promising similar messages on governments because the role of FIS is clear. The difference in my message is that I have over 20 years of insight, fully understand what needs to change and how to get it done. I'll bring all our national associations to the centre of decision making, not just to make a harmonious FIS, to make a successful FIS. Our exceptional organisers take on huge responsibilities. The ski industry has supported the sport from the outset. They're welcomed at our table. Our athletes, with a bigger voice through the athletes' commissions for each of our disciplines, will be fully heard. We'll continue to develop their sport, safeguard their welfare, reduce serious injuries, protect clean sport and help them prepare for their future careers. FIS has dual responsibilities: to be custodians of our sport, cherishing its fantastic attributes, and to lead evolution and make the necessary changes in our sport and governance. I'm motivated for our future. I'm truly excited about the historical Olympic Winter Games in Beijing. Our sports will represent over half of the events on the programme. This is what I've been fighting for on our behalf within the IOC commissions and leading the FIS delegation at 5 Olympic Winter Games. Our Olympic success has had the single biggest impact on the profile of our sport. IOC funding has increased over the last 20 years, which has been absolutely vital to enable your special distribution financial support. Many sports face the risk of losing events on the Olympic programmes, while we have 6 new events at Beijing. And during my time as Secretary General, we've nearly doubled the number, adding 22 competitions to reach 55 in total. This is more than any other summer or winter sport. We've dramatically raised the number of opportunities for our national associations to send athletes to the Olympics, and you have become stronger because of this. Relationships with the IOC and Olympic movement are vital to be effective in the heat of an Olympic Games. At Beijing, the new president will not have time to learn on the job. 20 years of building solid, dependable relationships will be vital for our Olympic future success. But despite our successful Olympic profile, we still have commercial partnership challenges. As a London girl, I had to leave my country at 15 to pursue my sport. I made a life choice to put my education on hold with no guarantee of success. Representing my country at the Calgary 1988 Olympics, I felt privileged. I still feel privileged today, 33 years later. A challenge like mine will always be the reality for the athletes. I've lived it. I understand what the athletes and the National Ski Associations need. Revenue. This is vital to our sport, to our National Ski Associations and to our athletes. We must prioritise investing in our sport's future. Money invested correctly changes everything. As President Casper has said many times, our role is to generate resources for the sport and not from the sport. Now is the time to seize the opportunities with new partners and new initiatives. Our existing partnerships will become stronger. We need the best digital engagement and innovations. Leaders across social media, including Facebook, the broadcasters and sports marketeers, see huge potential for FIS. Our superstar athletes and truly global elite events in Europe, North America and Asia deserve that we promote them in the most extensive way possible. More resources mean higher level prize money. The athletes deserve that. Football, Formula One, tennis, golf, they've achieved it, and we must set our sights just as high. Our developing nations need our support to build their competence, to access funding, equipment and coaches. Let's promote them. The world needs to know there are FIS competitions taking place on snow in South Africa and on roller skis in Mexico. Working together with the winter tourism industry will drive more participation and consumers, resulting in more resources for the national associations to invest in the sport. Our shared focus is to bring more children to the snow. Gianfranco Casper backed a woman and one from a non-traditional nation to become the first female Secretary General of FIS. I'm truly grateful for his confidence. Yes, we eventually had some differences. Who wouldn't after 20 years? I wanted to evolve and modernise. But we both focused on the best interests of the sport. As Secretary General, I've driven our evolution in positive ways. As President, with your political mandate, we'll work together to effect the necessary changes where they're fundamental to our success. As your President, I will represent all communities of FIS, and this with dignity and grace. I see our future from many different perspectives. I've been to events in most member nations. I know and appreciate your cultures. My only focus is the FIS presidency. No other obligations or organisations conflicting with my time, and I'm ready from day one. My passionate focus is to put the needs of the sport itself at the heart of all that FIS will do. Now we're at the foot of the mountain. Together we can climb to the heights our sport deserves. I'm truly humbled to stand before you today. It will be an honour to serve as your president.
So, thank you all candidates for your excellent presentation. And as I see, we have some questions received from the floor. So I'll pose to our moderator for the first question to the candidates.
Yes, we only have one question to all four candidates from the Canadian delegation. I will read it. There were a number of bylaw proposals deferred at the request of FIS, including expansion of council to enable increased women's representation. These changes are critical and needed before the next Congress. How will you proceed to address these proposals? I would suggest that we go in alphabetical order, so I would ask Mats Arias to please unmute himself and provide a brief answer to this question.
Thank you. I have explained, because I've heard this question several times, I would suggest that we immediately after the Congress figure out whether it's possible to handle this and take care of this before the next Congress. But we have to make sure that we are doing something according to the existing statutes. Thank you.
Thank you. The same question to Johan Elias.
Hello, everybody. Well, in my case, it's very simple. I will propose an extraordinary Congress to be held in September, October, where we would not only enact this provision, but also all the other changes to governance. So we get that done as quickly as possible.
Thank you very much. Urs Lehmann, please.
Hello, everybody. Also from my side, simple, crystal clear answer, as soon as possible. That means first day, dig into the proposals that have been laying on the table for too long time and see what the processes are. We have to check the bylaws, but for sure, I would stand for as soon as possible.
And Sarah Lewis.
Good day, everybody. From my perspective, we will implement the Governance Commission immediately and review all of the different Congress proposals that are currently on the agendas have been tabled over the years, and then build up to our meetings in October through meetings of the Commission in order that we have solid proposals that can be voted on prior to the Congress in 2022 and therefore enacted when it comes to a solid Congress decision to go ahead.
Thank you. That was the only question proposed via the chat to the moderator, so I hand it back to our chairman.
Thank you, Jenny. There is no more questions. I don't see even nothing on my chat. So I'd like now to pass things over to Dr. Netzle and Philip to introduce the vote. Stefan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We already addressed the voting. Let me just remind you how this will be done for the election of the president. As I said, we have 4 candidates. You have heard them, confirmed by a preliminary assessment, and it is therefore possible that none of them will obtain the simple majority of all votes cast in the first round. This means that the candidate with the fewest votes will be eliminated for the second round, and 3 candidates remain in the race. If none of the 3 candidates reaches the majority of all votes cast in the second round, the candidate with the fewest votes again will be eliminated, and 2 candidates will remain in the race. In the third round, the candidate with more votes cast will become the new FIS president. There may be a situation when 2 candidates have exactly the same number of votes and one must be eliminated for the next round. There will be an intermediate ballot just between these 2 candidates to find out who will be eliminated and who may proceed to the next round. There won't be any breaks between the rounds, but one round is immediately followed by the next, if necessary. You will see after every round who received how many votes. But you will not see who voted for whom. That's the secret part. Last point, the new president is elected for the remainder of the term of the actual president, that is until Congress 2022. Thank you and good luck.
Please join me for the election process. Philip, please go to the vote.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Dr. Netzle, for those very clear explanations. The voting members should now be prepared to switch again to the Lumi platform to cast their vote. Non-voting members and our honored guests on YouTube will not be able to do this. So please bear with us and we will all see the results shortly. I will now pass over the floor to our notary public, Mr. Gardiner, and to the voting team at Lumi. Thank you.
Thank you, Director General. And if we now move to the voting, which is for the FIS presidential election, and please select one candidate from the following list: Mats Arias, Johan Elias, Urs Lehmann, Sarah Lewis. And the poll is now open. The poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll will close in 10 seconds. The poll is now closed, and I hand the floor back to the chair. Thank you.
Decided. Ja. Ja. 100, nein, 100 votes cast. 20. Okay. So we don't have the decision in the first round. Possible votes 120. Valid vote cast 119. Mr. Johan Elias 65 votes. Urs Lehmann 26 votes. Sarah Lewis 15 votes. Mats Aries 13 votes.
He's elected. He's elected.
Sorry, we have discussed it on a little different way. I would like to congratulate, because this is 54%, and Mr. Johan Elias with 65 votes was elected as a new president of the International Ski Federation in the first ballot. Congratulations. And of course, congratulations to Mr. Elias. The entire FIS family looks forward to a bright future working with you. I would like to now invite you to address to FIS Congress as a newly president as an acceptance speech. Please, Mr. Elias.
Well, friends and colleagues, I'm incredibly humbled to have been chosen as your president. There are so many people I would like to thank, and I'll be in touch with all of you later today. I want to thank FIS for organizing such a professional virtual Congress. Roman, well done to stand in on such short notice, and Philip, well done for all your efforts and hard work. I would like to, of course, extend a very special thank you to Gianfranco for the incredible service he has given to FIS for half a century. I've known Gianfranco for 25 years, and I know without Gianfranco, we would not be where we are today. And at the earliest opportunity, when we're all together in person, we shall all honor you the way you deserve. And on behalf of every member of the FIS family, I wish you a speedy recovery, Gianfranco. Finally, I'll be engaged, open-minded, transparent, and a president for all nations, all disciplines, everywhere. We have incredible opportunities, and now let us go to work. Thank you all.
Thanks to Mr. Elias for your kind words, and I wish you all the best of luck in your new position. We'll proceed now with the voting of the council candidates. The 7 new candidates have each submitted a presentation video again. Again, we'll watch them in the alphabetical order of the candidates' names. To save time during the Congress, the council candidates up for the re-election unanimously agreed they would not give presentation videos to the Congress. If any presidential candidates are now running for the Congress, they will also not give any kind of the new presentation. During and at the end of these 7 videos, you will have the opportunity to submit the question, if you should have any, on the similar way like with the presidential election. These questions will be moderated again to keep track on the time and to ensure the neutrality necessary. And again, because of the limited time, I would like to ask you to ask only relevant questions that were not covered in the candidate videos, and thank you for your understanding. Please submit any question using the chat function if you have a question for them of these 7 candidates. Please start with the videos.
Hello everyone, my name is Wojciech Gumny and I have the pleasure of being the candidate for FIS Council from Poland. I have been involved into winter sport for the last 20 years. Also, I have been involved into organization of all major winter sports events organized by Polish Ski Federation in Poland. As far as I can remember, winter sports event organization and work for the development of winter sport have always been very close to my heart. This has been both a job and a passion of mine. I have always supported our athletes and coaches on the way to success. With the organization of international sporting events in Poland, we have tried to popularize those both in Poland and worldwide. Development of winter sport is my main professional goal. I am an ambitious person with head full of ideas, interested in the new challenges and experiences. This is why I have made a decision to stand for the FIS Council. Thank you very much, Wojciech Gumny.
Vote for our candidate from Poland, 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 Wojciech Gumny.
Bulgaria is not a typical alpine country, yet we have amazing nature and beautiful mountains. Plus a long-standing tradition in winter sports since Bulgaria was among the founding members of FIS in 1924 in Chamonix. But in the 90s, Bulgarian winter sports were close to ground zero. So, when I became president of the Bulgarian Ski Federation in 2003, I knew dramatic change was needed. Over 10 years, I upgraded everything, from fundraising and sponsorship to discovering and developing of young talents. My team and me invested heart and soul in this challenging turnaround. And the results simply follow. We got podiums and titles. For 12 years, we hosted 11 World Cup events in ski and snowboard, as well as a World Junior Championship. For the first time in history, a Bulgarian won a big crystal globe, Radu Yankov in an alpine snowboard. In short, we managed to return our country to the global map of ski sports. And I'm really proud of this. But one of the facts that warms my heart the most are those over 30,000 kids who got introduced to skiing through our nationwide program, Learn to Ski. The kids are the most important things for the future of the winter sports. As a large-scale manager and investor, I know how to get the complex projects into motion, how to collaborate across international borders. And I know how important are not the fancy words, but the end results. That's why I'm sure that my expertise can benefit directly the FIS Council in achieving its goals and bringing global winter sports to the next level. Finally, apart from the long-term vision and 20 years of experience, I bring one more thing to the table. My sheer passion for this work, for the adrenaline rush of the competition, a passion for the unique beauty of winter sports, which I love since I was a kid. This passion and dedication I pledge to the Council, and you can take my word for it. Thank you for your time and for considering my candidacy.
Dear delegates to the 52nd International Ski Federation Congress, I'm Ken Reid, and it is an honor to be nominated by the Canadian Snow Sports Association as candidate for FIS Council. I'm pleased to present my credentials, but first I want to take a moment to recognize and thank Canada's retiring FIS Council member Patrick Smith for 20 years of leadership in Council. Patrick is known for his integrity, his commitment to building sport, and I intend to continue to build on this legacy. This past year has been a challenge for all of us, and I'd like to recognize and thank all within the FIS family who worked so hard to safely deliver events, World Cups, and World Championships in all of our disciplines. Sport is dynamic and ever-changing, and as a candidate to FIS Council, I offer my experience to work with our new president and other members of Council to build our sport so we can all realize the enormous potential of our 6 disciplines to expand the appeal of snow sports, from our traditional base to reach to new markets and younger audiences keen to embrace winter and snow. I'm committed to work closely with all national snow sports associations to be open, transparent, accessible to all members. Skiing and snow sports have been my lifelong passion. I know what it takes to be a champion: relentless determination, setting of goals, the will to explore new ways to achieve, and the importance of teamwork to succeed. This was my passion for 10 years on the World Cup and in World Championship and Olympic competition. I've always been motivated to build sport. An invitation by Mark Hodler to the 1981 FIS Congress to share my experience as an athlete motivated me to become a sports builder. I was elected chair of the Canadian Olympic Committee Athletes Commission and later became a member of the IOC Athletes Commission for 15 years. I was selected to be chef de mission for the Canadian Olympic team to Barcelona Summer Games and also elected to the board of Cross Country Canada. I offer 4 decades of working within the FIS, from a modest start as safety expert for major events in North America. I earned my FIS TD license and remain an active FIS TD today. I've been a member of the Alpine Executive Board since 1988 and vice chair since 2008. My focus has been to share best practices and expertise across the FIS disciplines as chair of the FIS Coordination Group for Youth and Children, and to work with the foundation of our sport, Youth and Children, as chair of the Alpine Youth Subcommittee. My business experience covered 2 decades of working with 2 of Canada's leading sports broadcasters in TV production, with event organizers, and building new sports properties, as well as the board level, including leadership, governance, audit, and operations. In 2002, I was recruited as CEO of Alpine Canada. I sold my business to my employees and embarked on more than a decade of sports leadership. I know all aspects of leading a sport organization. To build a management team with direct responsibility to lead all aspects of sport, from operations, athlete development, teams, and events, including oversight of all Alpine World Cup events in Canada as we prepared for the Olympic Winter Games. We revitalized athletic performance, revenues, and interests in the sport. After the 2010 Games, I was recruited to join Canada's High Performance Funding Agency as Director of Winter Sport, giving me an opportunity to work closely with all Canadian winter sport federations, including, of course, the 6 FIS snow sport disciplines. As a candidate for FIS Council, I bring direct experience of leading a national snow sports association. Sport is a business that must provide value to broadcast partners and to our sponsors. And as we look forward, we have the knowledge to build from our traditional base, as well as the courage to explore new ideas, new markets, and new opportunities. This is the experience I bring as a candidate for FIS Council. My commitment to you is a relentless dedication to snow sports, to our competitors, to good governance, to gender equity, to harness the excitement of our disciplines, to tap into the expertise of our committees, and working with our new president, FIS Council, FIS staff, and all of you, the National Snow Sports Associations, to unlock the full value of snow sports worldwide. This is my commitment to you, to be part of building a FIS community that is dynamic, exciting, robust, and thriving, that serves our national snow sports associations and our competitors, an international sports leader. Thank you. Merci. Danke.
Dear FIS family, I'm truly happy I was able to talk to you in the past month. It has been both inspiring and instructional to learn about your individual needs. Now I can see better the broadness of the challenges and expectations that await us in the future. What we have achieved in Slovenia with limited resources in athletes, infrastructure and finance can be best practice solution for many of the member associations. All the achievements of our athletes and the organization teams of the FIS World Championships and FIS World Cups are based on passion, courage and creativity. These are just some characteristics I will bring to the FIS Council from the world of sport and business. Just the fact that I was able to present myself to you and managed to establish so many great contacts is an example of new way of communication that I will also follow in the future. I'm deeply honored and thankful for getting so much support in our conversations. I can promise you, together we are starting a new era in our great sport.
Dear Mr. President, dear Council members, dear delegates, dear ski friends. No question, the past months were a big challenge for all of us. COVID-19 was a stress test, and I think we can rightly claim that we passed this test together. Compared to other federations and organizations, the International Ski Federation was and is well set. This became clear once more. Yes, it's true. Despite the many difficulties and challenges, we managed to keep our federation on course. We have also seen, however, where we will have to improve if we want to continue the success story of the FIS, advancing to a modern federation. If you don't go forwards, you go backwards. This is nothing new. Therefore, we should review certain procedures and structures. In addition, we will surely need new and creative ideas to meet the challenges that lie ahead of us. Nevertheless, we should not forget where our strengths are and where we come from. To be able to understand the present and successfully shape the future, we have to know our past. I am aware of the different interests and difficulties, from professional sports down to young athletes and amateurs. I'm aware of the problems of ski clubs and all national federations. But I also know what is required to make Alpine or the Nordic World Ski Championships an athletic and economic success, despite enormous difficulties, which we had to overcome most recently in Oberstdorf. I'm also aware that it will take more than just some new concepts. Above all, we will need the people. We will need to keep up enthusiasm for ski sports and in some cases maybe newly spark enthusiasm. For this purpose, we will need a clear strategy, reliable statements and common values to follow. Development programs for the smaller association, good governance, sustainability and prevention must not only be keywords in presentations. To get future generations excited about ski sport, these topics have to become an inherent part of our DNA. Credibility was and will remain our greatest asset for our athletes, for our children and teenagers, and for our partners. Not only in our fight against doping, but in all areas. Due to my different activities and function in the German Ski Federation, I have a solid network with our partners, sponsors, and the media. Moreover, I'm in close and regular contact with all of the important organizations as WADA and IOC. As an independent Supreme Judge and President of the High Court of Appeal, I have always attached great importance to integrity and reliability in my entire professional and honorary career. Therefore, my candidature for the FIS Council is not based on any personal motives. It's my aim to continue the successful work of the FIS Council with a high degree of credibility and transparency. At the same time, I'm sure that I will be able to provide new impulses for the future based on my know-how. One thing which is at least as important for me, I know all fascinating facets of our sport. I have been a trainer for more than 20 years. Still today, there is nothing more beautiful for me than cross-country skiing in a snowy landscape or alpine skiing. With each starting signal in the World Cup, I'm almost as nervous as the athletes are. Be it on the occasion of the Four Hills tournament or the long-established downhill races in Garmisch-Partenkirchen. Ski sports have fascinated and motivated me since I was a little boy. As a member of the FIS Council, I am well prepared to take on this responsibility. For our federation, all national associations, our sport, our fans, and most important, for the benefit of our great athletes. Thank you, merci, Dankeschön.
Dear ski friends, my name is Yelena Valbe. I was born in the small town of Magadan in the Far East region of Russia in 1968. From early childhood, I observed with interest the skiers who were training on the course that was next to my house. I started skiing as soon as I started walking, and at the age of 8, I started serious training at the Children and Youth Sports School in Magadan. At the age of 11, I became a member of the Magadan region ski team. Hard work, complete dedication, and commitment gave results. At the age of 17, I was included in the USSR National Youth Cross-Country Skiing Team. Over the years of being in the national team, I became a multiple champion of the USSR and Russia. I won my first gold medal at the international level at the 1987 FIS Nordic Junior World Ski Championships in Asiago, Italy. I won my first out of 5 in total overall World Cups in the 1988-89 ski season. Throughout my entire career, I had 81 podiums, including 45 wins at the FIS Cross Country World Cups. I became a 14-time world champion and a 3-time Olympic champion. In 1998, I ended my sports career, but I did not part ways with sports. I became a sports advisor to the governor of the Moscow region. From 2004 to 2006, I was the vice president of the Russian Cross-Country Skiing Federation, and in 2010 I was elected its president. Since 2013, I have also become the head coach of the Russian national cross-country skiing team. As a former elite athlete, I was aware firsthand of the challenges that athletes face in their career path, and I knew how to help them. I am proud of my team, which has become my second family. One of the primary objectives in my new role as a sports leader was the development of cross-country skiing in all the regions of our large country. Over the past 10 years, a modern infrastructure for skiing has been created in Russia, and the amount of ski courses that meet all the international standards has increased. As a result, the number of people involved in cross-country skiing has increased both on an amateur and professional levels. Hard work for the benefit of Russian ski sports and the trust of my colleagues led me to be elected president of the Russian Ski Association in 2019. Under my leadership and through joint efforts, we continue to develop and promote ski sports in Russia. It's extremely important for me to encourage and inspire children and young people to ski. Every year, I take part in a dozen of youth sports events all over Russia. Also, special projects are created to increase youth participation and to promote ski sports among broader public. In 2021, for the first time in history of Russia, a film about skiing was released. It is a biopic about my life's journey and sports career. And now, I am ready to serve ski sports on a new level. With your support as a member of the FIS Council, I will represent the interests of all national ski associations. I will contribute to the further successful development of FIS as one of the leading international federations. I will support creating equal opportunities for all disciplines in the FIS family with athletes at the center. I will advocate for the effective governance of FIS.
Спасибо, что пришли.
Спасибо большое.
Поздравляем вас. Спасибо большое. Спасибо. Елена Рязань. Спасибо.
Thank you for your support.
Distinguished President of FIS, Council members, friends of the worldwide ski families, I'm Moses Zheng Liangcheng, Vice President of Chinese Ski Association. In past many years, my career has been closely connected with ski sports. I desire to make a greater contribution to development and prosperity of the sports. So I decided to run for FIS Council member. My decision was strongly supported by Chinese Ski Association. I'm pleased for the opportunity to introduce my vision to the global ski families. Chinese ski sports had a late start. Level of development was not high, but the population of participation grew rapidly after China successfully bid to host the 2022 Olympic Winter Games. At present, Chinese athletes are training hard to improve performance, hopefully to achieve outstanding results at the Games. So far, we have obtained strong support from big ski sport nations. There are 107 international coaches are working diligently in China. I would also like to sincerely thank to all my colleagues for their effort. Currently, we are working diligently to deploy preparation for Beijing Winter Olympic Games in all aspects, aiming to present a fantastic, extraordinary, and excellent games. Also taking the opportunity to further promote the communication and the collaboration between China and all nations, strengthening the understanding and the friendship among the members of big ski families. I would be very happy to be the bridge of communication between China and the international ski families. Beijing Olympic Winter Games is not a finish line. Instead, it is a starting point. You may not know, China takes the opportunity of these Olympic Games, setting the goal of ice and snow sports movement to south, west, and east of China to vigorously develop the ski sports, creating enormous market potential. We are willing to share the opportunity of the development. We welcome every one of you to get on the train of Chinese ski sports development for a free ride, diligently promoting collaboration in the areas of people exchanging, building training systems, skiing tourists, equipment industry, and many others. At the same time, we will optimize the value of Beijing Winter Olympic Games legacy, strive to host more high-level international ski competitions, providing more platforms for communication, contributing more to development of ski sports. Last but not least, thank you for your listening. Special thanks to the friends who have been focusing and following the development of Chinese ski sports. As the world's largest emerging ski market, China needs your continued support. Thank you again.
Thank you all for your excellent presentation. And I'd like only now to ask our moderator, Jenny, if there are some questions.
Mr. Chairman, we have not received any questions via the moderation chat, so I hand the floor back to you.
So thank you. Looks like that all new candidates invested a lot of time to talk with all of you. So we can now proceed directly to the voting. And I'd like to ask Dr. Netzle and Philipp to introduce the vote.
Yes, some remarks about the election of the other council members. There are 16 seats and we have more than 16 candidates, namely 19. Presidential candidates who have not been successful in the presidential election may also run for a seat in the council. 2 of the 3 candidates decided to do so, namely Mats Orjes and Urs Lehmann, so they are also on the list. The election of the 16 council members shall be carried out as always, before, namely in one single voting round. That is in line with the FIS statutes, which require you to name all 16 candidates you want to elect to the council in one single ballot. Again, according to Article 22.2 of the FIS statutes, your ballots must contain 16 names. Ballots with fewer names are not valid and cannot be counted. The 16 candidates with the highest number of votes are elected. There may be a situation, as I said before, when candidates number 16 and 17 have exactly the same number of votes. There will be a separate ballot just between the 2 tied candidates to determine the 16th seat in the council. The results will be shown immediately after closing of the voting. You will, however, also this time not see who voted for whom. Thank you very much. Back to you.
Thank you. Please, Philipp, introduce the vote.
Thank you very much, Dr. Netzle, for those very clear explanations once again. So for our final ballot vote on the Congress, all voting members will need to be ready now to switch again to the Lumi platform for the last time for the vote. As before, the non-voting members and our honored guests on YouTube will not be able to see the vote, but you will see the results shortly. Now, so for the vote, I will pass once again to our Notary Public, Mr. Gardiner, and the Lumi team in the UK.
Thank you very much for that. Before we proceed with the vote, just a reminder to voting delegates to go to the Lumi platform. And a reminder for this vote, you must select 16 candidates from the list and click the send icon in the bottom right-hand corner once you are done. So you must select 16 candidates and only then will you be able to click the send icon in the bottom right-hand corner. Thank you. Thank you. And we will now move to the next vote, which is for the council election.
and you're asked to please select 16 candidates from the following list: Mats Ares, Dean Gosper, Wojciech Gumny, Roman Compost, Urs Lehmann, Seko Minef, Aki Murasato, Dexter Payne, Ken Reed, Flavio Roda, Eric Roster, Peter Schwanstadel, Enzo Schmerker, Franz Steinl, Marty Visitalo, Eduardo Valenzuela, Michel Vion, Elena Valbe, Liang Chen Zhen, and I now declare that the poll is open. This is a gentle reminder. We are going to leave the poll open for a little longer, but please remember to select 16 delegates, 16 candidates, and click the send icon in the bottom right-hand corner. Once you have clicked the send icon, you will notice that the options will change color and you will receive a vote confirmation message. If you have not received that vote confirmation message at the top of your screen, then your vote has not been submitted. Thank you. The vast majority of votes have been cast and the poll will remain open for another minute. The poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll will close in 10 seconds. The poll is now closed, and I will hand the floor back to the chair.
Team Lumi, and I announce the new setup of the Council for the upcoming year. Total possible votes 121, valid vote cast 116. Erik Röste, Norway 112, Frank Steinle, Germany 112, Dexter Payne, USA 111, Enzo Smrekar, Slovenian 111, Flavio Roda, Italy 110, Dean Gosper, Australia 109, Peter Schretznagel, Austria 109, Michel Viau, France 109, Urs Lehmann, Switzerland 104, Roman Kumpos, Czech Republic 103, Aki Murasato, Japan 103, Mats Aries, Sweden 100, Cheng Liang Cheng, China 98, Martti Usitalo, Finland 97, Čeko Minev, Bulgaria 83, and Jelena Vyalbe, Russia 80. It is 16 members of the newly elected council. Thank you and congratulations to all of them. I would like also to take an opportunity to confirm that Hanna Kearney from USA and Martti Yhyhala from Finland has been nominated for the Fellow Athletes Commission as a member to serve on the Council for the upcoming term. Thank you and congratulations to both of these fine athletes representatives. Only to inform you that newly elected Council will be informed as soon as possible about the first meeting from the new President. We'll move to the item number 19, and this is the election of the two auditors of the ECON for the next financial period. The Council proposed the following people as auditors: Uroš Kalan from Slovenia and Peter Menel from Austria. If anyone opposed, please show your hands. I don't see any hands now, so we can consider the proposed auditors approved. Thank you, and I'll continue. Item number 20, this is the decision of the working languages of the Congress in the year 2022. The Council proposes English to be a working language of the Congress in the year 2022. Is anyone opposed? Please raise your hand. It's not the case. So we can consider the working language approved. Thank you. And we'll continue to the other business. Under the point 21, there is no other business that has been submitted for today's Congress. We'll move to the point 22.1, place a date of the 53rd International Ski Congress. It gives me a great pleasure to announce the location of the 53rd International Ski Congress, which will be the beautiful resort town of Vila Moura in the Portuguese Algarve. Please show your video. Vilamura looks like a paradise to me, so I hope that we can all meet safely in person next year. Dear ski friends, it has been a great honor and privilege to conduct this online congress in the name of Gianfranco Caspar. I know we all wish him a very speedy recovery. As mentioned earlier, there is a web page, www.caspar.ski, and that is available for our revered ongoing president, and I would like to invite you all to share your memories, thoughts, and best wishes for Gianfranco Caspar. I would like also to thank the entire technical team from Skenotech and Lumi, who helped FIS to stage its first ever online congress. A special thank you all of the delegates and candidates for their patience at this Congress. I would like even thank all of my colleagues from the Council for the great help and the support. Last but not least, I would like to give a very special thanks to the entire FIS staff, who worked tirelessly to deliver a successful season under difficult circumstances, and who also helped ensure that today the Congress runs smoothly.
Mr. Chairman, if I might quickly interrupt you here before you finalize the closure of this meeting, I would like also, on behalf of our outgoing president, Mr. Gianfranco Caspar, as well as the entire FIS Council, to thank you very much for supporting us today. We know this has been a last-minute call, and there has been a lot of discussions on how we can deliver this, and I would really like to thank you from the bottom of all our hearts to have jumped in these difficult times. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Philippe. So I'll now close this Congress by saying thank you to each and every one of you who has worked so hard to make FIS what is today. I wish Mr. Elias, the new president, all success with taking FIS forward into what I know is a very bright future. Dear ski friends, I wish you a nice summer, and I look forward to seeing everyone again as soon as possible in person. Thank you so much.